Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to install Linux on your phone. If you're looking for more security and to get free from Google and Apple and from monitoring, then this is the answer for you. I'm going to show you how to do it on a Nexus 5. I already have one and I've already installed it, but I'm going to go through the install process for you real quick just to show you how it's done and try to make it as short as sweet as I can, fast forward through the waiting parts, but here we go. So the Nexus 5, probably the most stable out of all the phone choices that you have, and you can get a new one for around $100 online. Here's just a list of some, but pretty cheap, pretty stable, good hardware, and towards the top of the list of what's available through Ubuntu Touch, which is what I'm going to do to show you how to get this installed. So here, if we were to click on the Nexus 5, you'll get to the download page where you download the installer, which is called UBports. First, if you go over here, just Google UBports, and it'll bring you the actual home page. You can click there, go over to devices, click on all devices, and if you have one of these devices, you can go ahead and install it on that device already. If you don't, you can get one of these devices, you can Google them, but like I said, this one's for the Nexus 5. So if we click on Nexus 5, it'll bring you to the installer. Click on install. You'll pick your operating system of what you're using, whether it be Ubuntu already on your PC. If you're using Windows, Apple, or a different distribution of Linux, you can click on that and it'll give you the installer. I already have it installed, so we'll go ahead and pull it up. Down here is the UBports installer, and it's going to detect I already have the phone plugged in. Gives you a little warning message. If it doesn't detect your phone, it probably means that you're not in developer mode, and it'll give you, I'll show you what that actually looks like. If you do not have it in developer mode, and then it gives you the instructions on how to take it out of developer mode. So if you do not have, if you go to open this and you do not have your phone in developer mode, it's going to say, how do I enable developer mode? If you click on that, it'll tell you which version you're using. Most of you guys are probably going to be set on Android, so click on Android. It'll tell you, scroll down to the bottom. You're going to click on the About Phone, and then you're going to tap on the build number 7 times. Once you do that, you'll see another option that'll bring you, or it'll give you a little toast message saying that you are now a developer. If you go back into settings, you'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see another option that says developer mode. Once you tap on that, you're going to go into the option that says USB debugging, ADB, or Android debug bridge option. You'll enable that, and you'll also enable the OEM unlock. And that will make it to where your phone is detectable under the UBports program. Once you do that, you'll plug it in, you'll restart the UBports option, or the UBports program. It'll bring it up, it'll automatically detect it, and it's going to go through and it's going to give you a little message on here to ensure that you're using the Nexus 5 and not the Nexus 5X. The Nexus 5X is not compatible, so ensure you're using the right installer for the right phone. Once you confirm this, it's going to walk you through the whole process. It's pretty easy. So far we've done like 2 clicks after we've enabled developer mode. You're going to click on install. For me, just to ensure that it's safe, we'll leave the channel the same. Just leave it on the stable option, and then click on wipe user data and format system partitions. Now before you do this, if you have photos or anything that you have to keep saved in regards to just actual files. Don't so much worry about apps. We'll get into that in a later video. But if you have any photos or documents or any type of files like that that you need to back up before you do this, make sure you go ahead and download them to a safe place like your computer or to a hard drive. Or if they're in the cloud, then you're safe. You can always pull those at any time. If you're using Google Photos or another option like that, you can always pull your videos and photos from there. But once you're ready to just wipe this guy clean, select all three of these options, click on Next, and it's going to go through the install process. So your phone is going to go into the bootloader. It's going to do its own special little thing. You'll see your phone doing it. You don't have to touch your phone. This installer is going to do everything for you. It'll pull up a custom recovery partition. None of this you really have to worry about. I'm just kind of explaining it as we're waiting. But I'm going to let it do its thing. I'll fast forward through this and I'll pick it up as soon as the install process is done, and I'll see you there. Alright, so we are back. Once it's done, or actually before your phone's done, you'll get this pop-up message. It'll say report your result. You can just click on pass. You can click on dismiss if you want, but this gives them an idea how many times it's working. Just click OK. It'll bring up a little web page saying that it's submitted your report. It's no personal data. Just lets them know that their stuff is actually working. So like I said, you don't have to, but you can if you want. So now we're going to kind of switch over to the phone side of it. So you can kind of see what you're doing. Now it's kind of like a walkthrough of the install process of how you're going to go through it on your phone. So when it's done, after it's done with the installing updates with the little happy little robot, you're going to get, it's going to boot up your phone. You'll go through the setup process, go through next if you speak English. I don't have a SIM card in it right now, but if you do, then it'll have it won't give you this message. So I'm just going to click skip. On here, I'm going to select my Wi-Fi, and we'll get back into it. So here you can just select your city that you currently live in. I'm in the same time zone as Chicago, so I'm just going to click Chicago instead of putting where I actually live. You can personalize your device by giving it a specific name. I'm just going to skip this, but that's so you can, if you're doing any kind of casting or want to be able to identify your device, you can have a special name for it. Here you can create an actual password to log into your phone. It'll also, for any type of administrator type actions, you'll need to enter in this password. I'm just going to put no lock code. You can also use just like a PIN number if you like, but I'm going to put no lock code just for the sake of this video. Click next, and it says welcome to Ubuntu. Get started. It'll give you a basic rundown of how to use it. So in the beginning, it'll say swipe down from top edge to access notifications, same as you would on an actual Android device. And it'll give you your Wi-Fi networks. You can select on here. Once you get notifications, they'll show up here. You can lock your rotation, select your keyboard loadout. You can set your location data, whether you want to use it or turn it off. Bluetooth devices, if you're going to connect to Bluetooth. Set your sound settings, your battery settings on here. You can change the brightness level as you would on an Android device. You can have it change to adjust the brightness automatically using the front-facing camera. It'll detect the light levels, and adjust your screen so that it fits it correctly. You have time and date, which is pretty much set by when you selected your time zone. And then you have your system settings up here. So you can go in and select your system settings. We'll go into that a little bit. Once you get to back to the main screen, it'll say long swipe left from left edge to open the application drawer. That just means that you take a long time to swipe. So if you just swipe from the left, it'll bring up the little bar, but you'll have to long swipe from the right. That'll pull out your whole app screen. So it comes with some basic apps that any phone would come with, like your phone, your messaging, contact. There's a Open Store, which is basically their app store. That will give you a list of some apps that you can use, but it's going to go through here and finish the tutorial. So swipe from the right edge to open your apps. If you do a quick swipe, it's just going to switch apps that you have open. An example, if we open up the web browser here, if we do a quick swipe, it's just going to go back and forth between the apps. But if you long swipe, it'll bring up the open apps, and then you can swipe up to get rid of them. So here we have your updates. There's an actual update to the Open Store, but there's a bunch of apps on here. A lot of them are going to be web apps because developers have not made specific apps for, say, Facebook or Gmail. But if you're doing this, you're trying to get away from them anyways. But some apps that are programmed in the Android language or the iOS language haven't been ported over to Ubuntu yet. But there are some other options that I'll get to in another video, to where if you have a specific Android app that you need. For instance, we have at my house, we have a doorbell camera, and it's managed by a specific Android app, and Ubuntu does not have that app. However, built into Ubuntu ports, there is an option to install Android apps that are native to Android and run them on Ubuntu Touch. So we will get to that in another video. So don't fret if you have a specific Android app that you absolutely need. We can show you how to get that over to your Ubuntu Touch so that I can look at my camera or turn on my lights or anything of that nature. But to get you started, there's a lot of stuff on here. So just to give an example, I'll show you on here. So we opened up the categories. If you go to communication and social, there's a lot of apps on here. If you're using Signal, which a lot of people are now, there's a Signal app right here. It's not an official Signal app, but it's using the same protocols, and you can log into your Signal app and use it that way through that app there. Discord has a web app, and just to kind of give you an example of what a web app is a web app opens up. It's similar to a browser window, but only goes to that website. So if you were to use a Gmail web app, it doesn't load an individual app. It loads a specific browser window that you can't navigate out of, and goes just to the gmail.com website, and it saves your information, your log on, so that anytime you open up the app, once you've logged in once, it'll keep you logged in, so you can go straight to the actual place where you were going. But for instance, Facebook, the Facebook app there, this is a web app, so you can log into your Facebook if you're going to continue to use them and use Facebook on here. Another example, if we scroll through here, they've got Gmail, they've got your Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn, a lot of stuff that you're already using on your phone. They have either a clone app, or someone has programmed an app for that specific purpose. And there's just going to be some cases where there's not an app for what you're used to on Android, that there's not a compatibility app that you can use through Ubuntu Touch. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. If you're wanting to use Ubuntu Touch on your phone and get out of Google and Android, then you're going to have to sacrifice some things that are comforting to you, that you're used to using. But that is the basics of using Ubuntu Touch on your phone. It has developers that are on this all the time, so there's updates that come, there's new apps that come, and like I said, we'll go over here in another video how to install an Android app onto Ubuntu. Thanks for watching, guys.